This is Brent of the Brookbush Institute bringing you another kinesiology taping video. In this video we're going to do a diaphragm / low back decompression / glute taping. It's going to end up looking like the British flag on your low back, and it's going to start all the way up at your xiphoid process. This is a really big taping technique that I have used to support my lumbopelvic hip complex dysfunction interventions, as well as some acute low back pain. I think you guys are going to see where when we tie all of this together, we get a little bit better recruitment of the intrinsic stabilization subsystem, a little bit better recruitment of the glutes, and those are all good things when it comes to correcting dysfunction and pain around our core. I'm going to have my friend Melissa come out. She's going to help me demonstrate this technique. Now, you need 2 pieces of tape. The first piece of tape is going to be quite long, between 26 and 30 boxes here, guys. This is a very long piece of tape. And the way we measure this is I actually had Melissa go ahead and get into this kind of cat position over the table. She went ahead and held the piece of tape for me at her xiphoid process. And then I measured the tape out so that I had little flaps that went over just the side of her glutes. So hopefully you guys can see how to measure that there on the camera. I went ahead and rounded my corners. The next thing I would do is fold this piece of tape in half, because my first anchor is actually right dead center in the middle of the tape. I'm gonna go ahead and rip that right down the middle, pull those flaps back. Then I'm going to have Melissa face me. She's going to lift up her shirt up to her xiphoid process, maybe the bottom of her sports bra there. And I'm going to go ahead and set that anchor right over the middle of her xiphoid process. All right. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Melissa turn around. Other ways. Let's go this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off by following the bottom of her rib cage. And you guys got to put just a little bit of tension initially so that it follows the curve of her rib cage. All right, because we want to establish a good anchor so that this tape doesn't start falling off as I have her turn around and I take care of the back portion of this taping. All right, same thing with this side. You got to put a little tension on, otherwise you end up with creasing right around the bottom of her rib cage. Unless you can turn around and face the camera there and kind of show them what you got going on there. So you guys can see it starts at her xiphoid process and then follows down her rib cage. Follows down her rib cage. Now I'm going to have her get back into that cat position, right? Because I want this part of the tape to actually be put on with kind of her rib cage expanded so that the tape is nice and long. I almost want it to be more distracting to her, more stimulating to her skin receptors when she exhales and her ribs are as small as they can be, because I want to kind of stimulate that deep diaphragmatic breathing. I want the tape to be at its normal, less irritating length when she's actually expanded a bit here. And I'm hoping that diaphragmatic breathing helps then stimulate those intrinsic core muscles, and I get a little bit more intrinsic stabilization out of those muscles. So I'm going to keep coming around the low back. And if I wanted to get really fancy here, guys, I could ask her which segment hurt, or if I've already done my assessment, I know which segment hurts, and I could have this cross right over that segment. But I'm just going to follow the bottom of the rib cage in her case, and I think we're going to end up right over about L4. And I'm just going to go right to the bottom of her pants there. Now I'm going to try to be as symmetrical as possible. Try to stay away from asymmetrical patterns here with the tape. You guys think this is a lot of awareness they get from their skin over a pretty long period of time. I can't imagine it's very hard to set up a asymmetrical movement pattern. All right, so now I'm right over to the top of her pants. And now we have to change position again. I'm gonna have her stand up. So I'm long tape here. Now I want the tape kind of in a shortened position over her glutes, because I want her glutes as active as possible all the time. So I'm gonna have her step back into extension. Good. And then I'm just gonna pull down the side of her pants as much as I need to get the tape down. Make sure you've explained what you're about to do to your patient or client. Don't go moving around clothing without asking permission. All right, you don't have to rub that much because the pants they're wearing will do a lot of the heating up of the adhesive and keep that stuck. All right, go ahead and switch legs. All right, good, there you go. Same thing on this side. Lay down the tape. Pull that back up. And then the last thing is I'd figure out which segment hurt, hopefully cross my tape over that, and then I'm going to add decompression taping on top of this. Now you could probably make a good argument for putting the decompression tape on the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to go, you guys know with that decompression tape you pull off the center, pull to 100, back off to 50, just like so. In Melissa's case, I probably got a whole lot of stimulus to all those muscles that hook into the thoracolumbar fascia there. And you can see here, as I was talking about before, if Melissa turns around and faces the camera, you have a quasi-British flag going on. Alright, so we got a whole lot of stimulation to the diaphragm and a little bit of stimulation coming from those anterior core muscles going down across her glute max on both sides, and then decompression tape a little bit in the middle, maybe stimulating some of that thoracolumbar fascia and the muscles that invest in that thoracolumbar fascia. You want to do a little spin for us? Alright, so once again, all the way from here, all the way down, across to each glute. So once again, guys, I would use this in support of any intervention I had for lumbopelvic hip complex dysfunction. I might use this for somebody who has some acute low back pain. At the very least, there's so much stimulus here, you might find it to be a little bit of a counter-reactant therapy where at least it gives them something to think about other than that acute pain that they've had, and maybe help start reset some of those cognitive processes involved in pain. How do you feel? Good. You feel pretty stable? The times I've used this, everybody walks away just feeling like I totally stabilized them all the way around. I've gotten great results. I look forward to hearing how you guys use this taping and how you feel using this taping, so please add your comments to the bottom of this video. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.